Let's go on over to Tulane and Ole Miss. Why do I have this game highlighted? Many of you are not going to really know much about Tulane. I didn't expect that you would. But Tulane is a very, very interesting G6. They played Ole Miss before, I think twice. And the last time they met, Tulane was a quarterback injury away in Michael Pratt from potentially stealing that game from Ole Miss. It turned out to be a 37-20 game. Guys, Ole Miss had to score 20 unanswered in the fourth quarter to pull away. So that tells you a lot about what Tulane is bringing overall. I really like John Summerall. John Summerall is a future Division I head, or is a future SEC head coach. Bottom line, he's a future Power 4 head coach, in my opinion. And what he's building there is truly remarkable. I think Jake Retzlaff, this has got to be a game where you got to get him out of his comfort zone. You had a great game last week against Duke, a game that really you had won once the first quarter was over. You stole the momentum. And I think that with the amount of talent that Tulane has, it's hard to not notice how good this team is. Guys, Jake Retzlaff had over 350 yards of offense by himself. So this is really going to be an interesting game between both of these quarterback rooms, both of which I think can do some damage. Right now, I think that Ole Miss is going to be continuing on with the Trinidad Chambliss era, which is not going to be any surprise. But Retzlaff really did some things. 4 rushing touchdowns, pretty much guided that team to where they earned a victory. They were up 29-4 going into the half. They had that game won. They're up 24-3 at one point, to be honest with you. They earned a win. They dominated from start to finish, even though they didn't win the yardage battle, even though they didn't win the first down battle, even though they weren't as good on third down compared to Duke. You controlled the game from start to finish. You took advantage of opportunities that Duke missed. Duke missed a field goal. You go down the field in 10 plays and take off 5.5 minutes, and you score. You force an interception, you get a field goal. You get a turnover on downs, it's a touchdown. Really 3 turnovers that led to 17 points for Tulane. So number one, for Ole Miss, you can't turn the football over. This offense can score. And I think Ole Miss is going to be in for another wild one. That's just my opinion. If Ole Miss wants to avoid an upset, number one, they're going to have to rely on the run game. I think Kewan Lacey and Trinidad Chambliss are going to be active on the ground all day today, that Saturday. Rightfully so, because that's an offense that right now for Ole Miss has their number one guy with Chambliss. Somebody that can throw the football. I'm not saying that I think Tulane's secondary is going to be better than what Ole Miss provided. But Ole Miss has the athletes. I'm not saying that Tulane doesn't. But I think that this is going to turn a 2-man race for whose quarterback is going to be the better coming out of this game. That's what I expect. I think at the end of the day, because it's in Oxford, because of the momentum that Ole Miss has with their new quarterback, I do have them winning. But I think this ends up being just over the over-under. I think the over is like 51.5. So give me the over in that one. I think this does end up being a 28-24 game, though. This is going to be another tight game. But don't be surprised. If Tulane is able to force a turnover or two, they'll be able to take advantage of the mistakes that Ole Miss makes. Ole Miss has to play another running quarterback. They gave up over 400 yards against Tulane Green last week. Let's see what they do against Jake Retzlaff. Going to be a fun game. I'm really interested to see this one.